Okay, a very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for joining us for this weekly media briefing from the Ministry of External Affairs. Before we begin with our questions, I have an announcement to make regarding the forthcoming Rycena Dialogue. Of course, as you know, this is a very important flagship event that is organized by the Ministry of External Affairs in collaboration with the ORF. The 7th edition of the Rycena Dialogue will be inaugurated on Monday, the 25th of April. And this time we are happy to announce that we can do it in-person format, unlike in the past. Because of COVID, we had to do it virtually. It will be over 3 days, 25th to 27th. Some of the information is already public, but let me just go over some of the salient aspects of this. As you all know, it started in 2016 with the flagship conference on geopolitics and geoeconomics. We have, of course, had very high-level representations in the past, and this year also I'm happy to announce that the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, will inaugurate the dialogue, along with, in the inaugural session, we'll have the chief guest as the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. This year, the theme that we have for this year's edition is called Terra Nova, Impassioned, Impatient, and Imperiled. There are multiple formats. There'll be 6 broad thematic pillars. I just briefly go over them. It's available, I think, publicly. Rethinking democracy, trade technology and ideology, end of multilateralism, a networked global order, water caucuses, turbulent tides in the Indo-Pacific, communities incorporated, first responders to health, development, and planet, achieving green transitions, a common imperative, diverging realities, an interesting one called Samson versus Goliath, the persistent, relentless tech wars. So that sounds interesting. There will be side events. These side events actually be hosted in Berlin and Washington. So this is an interesting part of the feed from other places. And Rycena Young Fellows program will also be conducted on the sidelines of this main conference. In terms of other participants, high-level guests, apart from Her Excellency Ursula von der Leyen, we will have the presence of, hopefully, as I say, sometimes these things change, former Prime Minister of Sweden, Carl Bildt, then former Prime Minister of Canada, Stephen Harper, former President of Maldives, Mohammed Nasheed, former Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Abbott. We will also counting on a pre-recorded message from the President of the UN General Assembly, His Excellency Abdullah Shahid. In terms of foreign ministerial participation, as you know, we have a large turnout of foreign minister participants who will also have official visits, and we will also, you will see engagements with EAM over this 4 days period, starting from Sunday actually. We are expecting the foreign ministers of Argentina, Armenia, Guyana, Nigeria, Norway, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Madagascar, Netherlands, Philippines, Poland, Portugal, and Slovenia. And we are also hoping for, I think, the Australian Foreign Minister to join online. As it happens, these things always are a bit iffy till the last minute, so please bear with us. But I think these names should be all confirmed. They will also have, as I said, official engagements in addition to the Rycena. Broadly, there will be 100 sessions over 210 speakers, more than 210 speakers from 90 countries. And of course, I understand the media has already registered for it, and we also have the dialogue. Many other people across the world will join into some of the open sessions. And of course, end-to-end, this is very high profile now. It's grown in stature, and it is a leading global conference on international affairs, attracts prominent thought leaders, and I would encourage all of you to follow developments. We will also try to keep you abreast. Okay, having said that, let me open the floor for questions or, yes, okay, Siddhant, okay, let's start with you.
So my question is on the visit of the US Congresswoman Ilhan Omar to Pakistan. She has made a lot of anti-India remarks. Any reaction to this? And secondly, on Afghanistan, there have been a number of terror attacks. What's India's reaction? It looks like situation is deteriorating in the country.
Related to this? Oh, okay. Okay, let me take a couple. Yeah, okay. Go with so, yeah, sure. Tell me. Not on.
This is Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. I'd like to know how large is the delegation that has come with Boris Johnson, and is Rishi Sunak a part of it, considering the fact that a lot of the recommendations were based on the spring statement that Rishi Sunak made recently.
Statement.
It was called the spring statement. A few days back,
Okay.
there was a mini budget
Okay.
wherein he made some statements.
Let me take your question first, actually. Look, I would not like to comment on the delegation composition. I think the UK side would be happy to share with you. I'm not really aware whether the foreign minister is accompanying him. As far as I know, he's not. But look, he is, as you know, Prime Minister Boris Johnson is here at the invitation of our Prime Minister, and he's actually in Gujarat, and you would have seen a lot of coverage. He's been given a very warm welcome by the government of Gujarat. And I think he has already done a few engagements during the day, including a visit to Sabarmati, inauguration of a business organizing investment, where he will reach Delhi later this evening. He has traveled to India before, but this is his first visit as Prime Minister. We look forward to that very much. He will have engagements with the Prime Minister tomorrow. In addition, of course, he has a formal role at the ceremonial part at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. And then, of course, as you know, we've already issued a press release. We're looking forward to detailed discussions of the bilateral as well as multilateral regional issues, including Roadmap 2030 and ongoing topics. So but on the specific issue, who all are coming or not, why don't we wait for the formal talks? It's their delegation. I'm not aware of what exactly was the spring statement or thing. I don't have an immediate comment on that. Moving on to you, Siddhant's question. Look, I think Representative Ilan Omar, Congresswoman, we have noted that she has visited a part of the Indian Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir, that is currently illegally occupied by Pakistan. Let me just say that if such a politician wishes to practice her narrow-minded and politics at home, that's her business, that may be her business. But violating our territorial integrity and sovereignty in its pursuit makes this ours. And we think the visit is condemnable. As regards Afghanistan, we have seen some of the terrorist attacks. Look, we have always been forthright in our condemnation of terrorist attacks. We haven't issued a formal statement yet. We are looking at what exactly have been the developments there. But let me emphasize that we have certainly condemned all terrorist attacks, such as this, particularly in Afghanistan, and I think we'll reiterate that stand. Okay. Yeah, please.
This is Tawqir Hussain from Yomiuri Shimbun. Japan says that India has denied authorizing the entry of its transport plane to collect aid for displaced Ukrainian refugees in India. So what is the reason of that? And we understand that earlier during the working group meeting, such authorization was given to Japan.
Let me mention to you that we had received a request from Japan for permission to land in Mumbai to pick up humanitarian supplies. There is a UNHCR depot there. I understand it was to pick up humanitarian supplies from that depot, to take it to Ukraine and its neighboring countries, as far as we understand. I would like to confirm that we have conveyed our approval for picking up such supplies from India using commercial aircraft. We had also received a request separately for overflight clearance using Japanese SDF aircraft carrying humanitarian cargo for Ukraine. That was also a process as per established norms. So that's what I would like to respond to you. Next. Okay, please. Sorry, let me reiterate again. We had received a request from Japan, as I said, to land in Mumbai to pick up humanitarian supplies from the UNHCR depot for taking, I think, to Ukraine and its neighboring countries. We have conveyed our approval for picking up such supplies from India using commercial aircraft. So that is one aspect of it. There is a separate request for overflight clearance of SDF aircraft across India. And that is a separate thing, is not a pickup of supplies. And that has also, I understand, been processed, humanitarian cargo as per established norms. I don't know if it's been conveyed, but that has been processed, the overflight clearance. So there are two issues there, and I think I've clarified our position on that. Sorry, you.
Yeah, sir, from Yomiuri Shimbun, another Japanese newspaper.
Yes.
So if I'm to understand correctly, what you're saying here is that Japanese side, a lawmaker and a government official, they have said that permission was denied for landing of self-defense aircraft. So are you saying it is because the self-defense aircraft was supposed to land and that kind of consent was not given by India in any way?
Look, I'm hesitant to comment on somebody else's comment that I may not have fully seen. I wanted to clarify the position that exists, which is that we had received a request for picking up supplies from, it's not, I mean, there's a UNHCR depot, and that is, we have said, yes, please, commercial aircraft will, come and pick it up. And there's a separate SDF flight, overflight, maybe there is, that issues are the same, or maybe there's something further. But as I said, Japan is very welcome to send a commercial aircraft, pick up that UNHCR material. Okay, moving on. Yes, please.
Hi sir, I am Ashok from ANI. There is a report which is Australian media is quoting, alleged interference by Indian High Commissioner in Australia in the academic freedom of the Australia. Indian Institute in Melbourne led to resignation of 13 fellows. Any comment and details on it?
Is this the Australia-India Institute? That's the one you're talking about? Yeah, actually, look, I think there is, there have seen some media reports on this. We have seen that, which are actually not accurate. I think there are two different aspects here. First, our missions and posts routinely engage with various academic institutions and think tanks in Australia and everywhere and elsewhere, other countries, with the objective of deepening India's relations with foreign countries and promoting understanding between India and the foreign country. Now, as regards the specific case of the Australia-India Institute in Melbourne, I would like to highlight that the institute was set up by the Australian government in partnership with the University of Melbourne. It is funded entirely by the Australian government and Australian institutions. I think the state of Victoria as well as the University of Melbourne are among the funding institutions. Let me stress that the government of India does not fund the institute in any way, nor does the government of India have any say in the decision making of this institute, the Australian Institute. So the report that we saw dragging India or our High Commissioner to Australia into this is actually very unjustified. Now, insofar as there were media reports where it talks about the academic freedom of the institute are concerned, frankly, as I said, this is for the Australian authorities to respond to. I do believe that the University of Melbourne has, and in fact the officials of the institute also have made their position clear on this. I don't have anything to add on that. Any other queries? Yeah, please. Microphone, please, wait. Please introduce yourself.
So this is Kamaljeet Sandhu. I work with India Today.
Yeah.
Two questions. One, are we going to bring up issues like Vijay Mallya and the issues of Khalistan with the UK? And my second question is, if you can elaborate the MOUs which India and UK are to sign tomorrow.
Nobody else on that? That would be the first question. You have a similar related question? Okay. I'm smiling because you've given me exactly a chance to say what I love to say. I don't have a crystal ball, can't speculate. I love that. Look, let me first of all say, look, as I said in the beginning, I think to Yashi, we are looking forward to a very productive visit. This is a very important visit. As you know, in the past, we had a very successful virtual summit last year. So what will be discussed will be, of course, issues of our bilateral agenda. What exactly will be taken up is I would have to leave it to the two leaders. We cannot speculate what they would say. Also a similar answer to what will be the outcomes. Please bear with us, and we will certainly share with you all the details. On the separate issue that you mentioned, I think you said a very common topic of Khalistan, which is very open-ended. But let me just emphasize on that as part of our agenda, of course, we have been repeatedly highlighting the need to bring economic fugitives to justice. And I think I've said this from this forum many times. And as well as security concerns that may emanate from individuals who harbor anti-India positions. But as I said, that's separately that's part of our discussions on various platforms. I do not know how or in what context this will come up, if at all. I think we should leave that to the leaders. Okay, if there are no further questions, thank you very much for your presence. Okay, please. There's a question? Okay, Paul, huh? Tomorrow evening, as always, we try to have a high-level briefing on a post-event. Let's see if we can do that, and then we can answer this question. Sorry, I forgot. Apologies. Go ahead. Your microphone's off.
Kallur from The Hindu. So this is regarding the Bloomberg news that India reportedly has gone ahead and is actually purchasing more Russian oil despite the recent warnings from the United States. Is that, could there be a response to it? to that story.
Which part of it would you like me to respond to?
That
The
India-
warnings, oil, Russia.
India
You said
has gone
various
ahead-
stuff. How can I unload that query?
India has gone ahead and actually is increased purchase of Russian oil.
Okay. Anybody? I'll take a last question. Somebody else? You have a question. बताइए.
सर शलंद्र न्यूज़ 18 से कुछ ऐसी रिपोर्ट सामने आई कि करतारपुर कॉरिडोर का मिसयूज़ कर रहा है पाकिस्तान और वहाँ पर जो पिलग्रिम्स जाते हैं उनको कल्टीवेट करने की कोशिश की जा रही है. क्या इस इशू को इंडिया उठाएगा पाकिस्तान के साथ?
कब? नहीं, मतलब ऐसा कोई मीटिंग नहीं है मेरे पास. इसमें मेरे अभी आपके साथ कुछ शेयर करने के लिए है नहीं. जब है होगा ज़रूर आपसे बताएंगे. Coming to Kallol's query, look, you put a very loaded one. I think we have put our position has been steadfast, has been clear on where we are vis-a-vis Russia. Let me reiterate it since you raised it. We have been, we're looking how to keep our economic relations stabilize this in the current context. I am not aware whether it's increased or not. We procure very little oil from Russia, almost no gas. This is not done on G2G basis. And I'm not sure if there's any further data that I have to share with you on that element. I think External Affairs Minister couldn't have put it better. I mean, he put it best, and you know exactly what I'm talking about when he talked about how the other parts of the world are where you should look at if you're looking at increase in oil. And you also asked about one more element, threat, sanction, what did you say? Warning? Oh, warning. I don't think I would characterize that. So just to place on record, I don't agree with that word either. I think we have a very good conversation with the US at various forums, at various levels. And I'm not particularly sure I would agree to that kind of a characterization. Okay, nothing else. Thank you very much. Appreciate your presence here today. See you next week.